Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Masjid Taqwa's live stream. We are having the brunch today for the opening of the Masjid Taqwa social media team, and we are having some other guests here as well in the masjid. And Sheikh will give his address at about 10 past 11. But we're just going to take a look inside, and we'll have a chat to some people as well later. But we are coming in right now, so let's have a look at some of the people sitting down, that sort of thing. So I'll switch it around.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved ulama, beloved imams, respected trustees, Hufal, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we're not going to have a lengthy program before we eat. Inshallah, our goal is to eat within 15 minutes, inshallah. To open, inshallah, but whenever you give Sheikh a mic, you must worry, but inshallah, we're going to ask Sheikh Shamil to honor us, inshallah, with an opening dua, inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شقيا ولا محروما ولا مفرودا وهب لمسيئنا لمحسننا ولا لمحسننا لمسيئنا بسعة جودك وكرمك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا يا الله سبيل السلام وسبيل الرشاد وسبيل التقوى برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, I'd like to welcome you to our Shukr event this year, alhamdulillah. It's an initiative that we for this community, alhamdulillah. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, that if we are grateful to Allah, then Allah will increase us in our favors. Ameen. And also our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has indicated, مَنْ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ النَّاسِ لَمْ يَشْكُرِ اللَّهِ, that the person who is not thankful to Allah, who does not thank people, has not thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so, we know we said we're formally meeting, but this is a fairly informal event, inshallah. And I thought I will use this opportunity as we close the year. I know many have been wanting to go on holidays and have asked that we suspend programs to accommodate them. And so our goal, inshallah, is of course to formally close some of the activities that have stopped already. But as we close the year, I thought I would use the opportunity to reflect. The Board of Trustees, the Executive Committee, has asked me to reflect on the first, what they deem the first 100 days. When I joined Masjidut Taqwa, I was still very happy on the day of the inauguration, and then later that day, the work started. In fact, the work started immediately after the lunch, when I was asked, please put together your 100-day plan and submit it to the Board of Trustees. So alhamdulillah, It's been an exciting and interesting first 100 days. Today is actually day 103, I think. Not that I'm counting. But alhamdulillah, it has been very interesting, and I thought I'd like to share this moment with everyone present, as you all play such an integral role at this masjid in this community, alhamdulillah. So, without a doubt, acknowledging the journey, it started a bit rough, alhamdulillah. A bit of tests in the community personally and at the masjid. And as Allah states to us, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً, that at times Allah will test us with evil and with good, and we must accept it in that manner. And I would like to particularly, at the very beginning of joining the masjid, thank my wife, my children, my family, my parents, my siblings, my in-laws, the board of trustees, for really being pillars of strength at the very beginning and managing to get through the initial challenges as we started, alhamdulillah. But then after the first week or two, I was able to join an amazing family. All of you seated in front of me. I also acknowledge those who are unable to join us in person. Some have tested positive, some are in isolation. May Allah grant them complete shifa. And I've also invited our online following, alhamdulillah. And the purpose for inviting our online followers on social media is because I thought I should use this opportunity to share our exciting plans for next year, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah, we started about 100 odd days ago, joining an amazing family, more highs than lows, alhamdulillah. And as we are preparing to close and preparing for our vacations, I want to start off by acknowledging and thanking the Board of Trustees, the Executive Committee. Sometimes people view them as the bad guys. So I want to say that Buddha Afa is nodding his head. I don't know if he agrees with the statement, subhanAllah. But I would like to share with everyone that they are not the bad guys. They've been extremely supportive. I think when I joined, I warned them that I come with a lot of expenditure, not personally, but as part of development, and they've been very supportive with the initiatives. I also want to acknowledge from the very beginning the stellar support from the Muslim Judicial Council, in particular my mentor, Sheikh Ibrahim Gabriels, who made the effort, changed his plans to be here, alhamdulillah, and continuously phones me. I think if 2 weeks go by and he hasn't phoned me, then there's something wrong. But he usually phones and checks in, are things okay, and offers advice, and may Allah reward him abundantly for his service to this woman. I also acknowledge that joining Masjid Taqwa, I joined an absolutely amazing legacy. It wasn't something to start off from scratch. And so I acknowledge, as part of this reflection of shukr and gratitude, although I have very, very faint memories of Sheikh Jamil, but I've read a lot about him, I acknowledge the amazing work that Sheikh Jamil Jardine has done and contributed not only to this masjid in particular, but this community, may Allah grant him Jannah. We are fortunate today that his grandsons form an integral part of our family at Masjidut Taqwa. And then, most recently, the amazing legacy of Sheikh Shamil. When I joined, I think I heard the statement over and over, you have extremely huge shoes to fill. So I checked Sheikh Shamil's shoe size. I think my feet are slightly bigger than Sheikh Shamil's. But yes, the legacy is something that I think we will not be able to meet. And it would be unfair for me to measure myself against these giants that have headed this institution. And so I'm very grateful to Sheikh Shamil for essentially handing over a masjid that is running absolutely smoothly, alhamdulillah. And I'm thankful to Sheikh Shamil for setting in essential pillars that are needed to take us to the next stage, inshallah. So Jazakallah khairan. Sheikh Shamil, for those who are online, he hasn't passed on. We make dua that Allah grants him many years, inshallah. And we are very fortunate that Sheikh Shamil has been able to join us at this Kalimatul Shukr today, alhamdulillah. And so the masjid continued, and in the first few weeks, I think the executive committee asked me, what are you going to do first? I see Kutatiki giggling at the back, because everyone was ready for radical changes, and etc. So I told him that I'm going to spend the first few weeks consulting. I'm going to engage with different parties, get to know everyone in the immediate community, those serving, those interested in serving, and that was a very interesting activity, alhamdulillah. Because as I visited homes and engaged with ulama and various families, there were a number of complaints shared with me, which I noted, alhamdulillah. Not that we can fix everything very quickly, but everyone's voice was heard, alhamdulillah. So joining Masjidut Taqwa, I also formally introduced, and I'm sure the community is aware of our Board of Trustees and Executive Committee. Many of them are unable to join us. I think I scheduled this too late into the holiday. But alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for those members who are present and for those who are joining us online for their commitment to this masjid. And I really want to emphasize their commitment. Now, many assume that a board of trustees are these big bosses. But from experience, alhamdulillah, they have been so welcoming. And whenever I would call on them and ask them for advice or input, they would, readily share. And yes, I think the trustees have come to know that I do like a clean place and painted walls and these things. So if there is something and I raise it, well, alhamdulillah, they try and make a plan within the limited constraints. May Allah reward them abundantly as well, and Allah honor them and their families. Ameen. And then I joined Masjid Taqwa with an absolutely amazing Imam. I don't know if he's here yet. He said he's going to be a bit late, Maulana Rushdie. And we had very interesting conversations at the beginning, understanding how it would be best to establish a way forward. And so I'm very grateful to him. And even though he never asked me, I want to thank his wife and his children, because being in this position really gives me first-hand experience of what Sheikh Shamil mentioned in his reflection, that you really have very little family life if you're in this position. To the extent that personally, one of my children tried to schedule counseling with my PA with me, which is indicative of how demanding this job is. So may Allah reward the wives of all the ulama and the children of all the ulama for their sacrifices. And after consulting with Maulana Rushdie, we welcomed, alhamdulillah, Sheikh Ishaq, who is present. I think I saw it, mashallah. Sheikh Ishaq was formally readmitted or continued in the capacity of forming part of the imamate, alhamdulillah. And Sheikh Ishaq and Maulana Rushdie are my pillars that I rely on. They are my counsel, and they are also part of the customer service agents at Masjid Taqwa, that they field some of the complaints, and then we determine what's the best way forward, alhamdulillah. So Jazakallah khairan to them, and I wish them a beautiful holiday as well. Both of them will be going on holidays shortly. So Masjid Taqwa, as we know, is structured in that manner with the Board of Trustees, the Exec Committee, my position, the imamate, and then we created these exciting portfolios and operations, and that is what I'm really wanting to share with everyone today, alhamdulillah. So after consultation with the musallis and community groups, I met with the Jamaat Tabligh representatives, I met with ladies, I met with youth, the Board of Trustees, met with ulama, the imamate colleagues, and of course there was the surveys that went out. Alhamdulillah, there were close to 52, I think, responses that came in with beautiful suggestions. All of this was taken into consideration to establish our trajectory going forward. And so Masjid Taqwa renewed its vision and aimed to be a dynamic center of Islamic teachings and practice that serves as a hub and provides religious direction and spiritual upliftment to the immediate and extended Muslim community of the Masjid and city. We, as Masjid Taqwa, should serve as an aim. We should serve Allah and the Muslim community by catering for their spiritual, social, and civic needs through offering, in addition to being a prayer facility, an array of programs, events, services, and initiatives that foster Islamic values and social cohesion, advance Islamic education and intellectualization, and provide critical community services that are underpinned by Islamic teachings. So this beautiful vision is what we've adopted and we are now striving towards with our initiatives. So we established a number of new committees and teams, and in the interest of time, for the online viewers, what we have at the masjid is a gathering of all the volunteers and the teams for those who can attend. And so I'm indicating that they are quite hungry. And so I'm not going to extend this, but I invite everyone to please visit the website to get a full understanding of how we've expanded into our various committees, people who have volunteered and joined, and we've put together our plans. Some are still busy with the planning for next year, inshallah. So at Masjidut Taqwa, and currently active, we have the Imamat, and then the Masjidut Taqwa Ladies Committee. We have the professional advisory panel consisting of our lawyers. I'll expand on that shortly. We have the education board that is looking after and assisting that portfolio, our religious services, our da'wah and propagation, our media team, our Ratib al-Haddad team, our Qurra, our Mu'adhins, our maintenance and security teams, and our Islamic judiciary, which is in fact an excellent group of ulama. At Masjidut Taqwa, alhamdulillah, the facilities that are now being planned, some have opened and some we are hoping to open next year, inshallah. Of course, the masjid is open without a doubt. For now, let's hope nothing changes, inshallah. We've launched in the last 3 months consultation offices, counseling offices. We've started preparation in our media center and computer lab. The Islamic library has started its renovation, alhamdulillah. We are looking at upgrading our auditorium. We've also upgrading our education and meeting rooms. A media office has been opened. It is in our plans to open the Masjidut Taqwa cafe, coffee shop, inshallah. And then also part of the renovations is an outside recreation area, inshallah. All the details can be found on the website. So the highlights of the first 100 days, my beloved brothers and sisters in Islam. Some of the events we've had is the basic life-saving skills workshop, the ladies' dhikr and Rampisnay event, which we hosted in conjunction with IFM, the Maulud program, the Burhanul Islam Bilal team tour in PE. We hosted the webinar on vaccination. We hosted the Islamic Medical Association of South Africa, the PE branch, for a vaccination site. We hosted CII's Humanitarian Projects Department. And of course, our Masjidut Taqwa Ladies Committee hosted amazing events, 2 events thus far, alhamdulillah. The weekly program has been adjusted and many have been giving us quite positive feedback. And this will also change next year, but inshallah, we'll look at those suggestions. Through the main addition really has been the adult Quran classes that have started and it's quite successful, alhamdulillah. We thank Sheikh Mukhtar Raban in absentia for his commitment to those students. Sheikh, if you are accessing this recording, please note that your students have asked me to ask you to give them a holiday. So Sheikh, please consider that min fadlikum. And then our Ratib al-Haddad has been introduced with an average amount of people gathering in the region of between 35 to 60. Alhamdulillah, a lovely spirit both in the ladies section and the male section, alhamdulillah. And in the Jumu'ah program saw the introduction of Surah Kaf and Qurra joining us, who are now seated here with us today, alhamdulillah. In our media area, we've extended our live streaming, alhamdulillah, now streaming to multiple platforms. Our online following has grown to about 5,000, alhamdulillah, spanning South Africa and abroad, alhamdulillah. With of course most of our followers in Qabecha. We've launched a new website. We've also launched online payment plans and systems, alhamdulillah. I thank Brother Adil Kaha in his absence because I said let's get a swiping facility, and that came in with a matter of days, and now we are facilitating the donations to the masjid, inshallah. Our social media extended through multiple Facebook initiatives, and we also established the media team, who I'm quite excited, who will be publishing the first newsletter in the next few days, inshallah. Everyone's, Brother Kashif keeps us, in track, alhamdulillah. I'm doing a whipping sign because he follows up on our deadlines, alhamdulillah. And we are hoping that the first newsletter will be published next week. It will be an online edition and then printed copies will be available early next year, inshallah. I invite everyone online and those attending to please visit our new website that details our new operations and plans and initiatives, inshallah. Our innovations have occurred at the masjid. An office for myself for consultation was completed, alhamdulillah. And a counseling office has been opened, a media office has been opened. We were also able to secure furniture for our lab and for the office spaces as well, and more donations are coming in, jazakallahu khairan, to all who have contributed to that initiative. And we hope to open many of the new facilities next year, inshallah. In the renovation project, as you've seen the online campaign, if you access the video on social media, I think it's a still of Ajikashi Lindo. You know, the system chooses randomly someone in the video. I'm really glad it wasn't me. But Ajikashi Lindo's face appears there. You would have noticed we have an online campaign running to raise funds for our renovation project, which is really looking at upgrading the education complex. I want to mention, and all of this is available on the website. Alhamdulillah, to date, our donations are, I think, in the region of about 30,000 thus far in a matter of a week, alhamdulillah. Many families have started to donate desks and chairs, and we appreciate it. We are not yet at the stage of furnishing one classroom, a single classroom, so we humbly appeal to all to please assist us in that line, inshallah, so that we can launch our programs February next year, inshallah. Now let's get to those at the masjid. MashaAllah, I don't know if Puja, you can see from where he's seated. Let's look at those at the masjid in reflection and in gratitude to them. Maulana Rushdi Naqadeen, Mustafa Muhammad. When I invited him, Mustafa said, I'm your guest of honor. MashaAllah, he is without a doubt. Brother Walid, who heads and has been active in our social media, alhamdulillah, he adapted to the new platforms very quickly. Panicked initially, but then, alhamdulillah, now he's the master of securing shares and likes and, you know, trends, alhamdulillah. We also thank Haji Fawzi Luki. I've put him under staff. Is Haji Fawzi here? No, maybe he's not here. I've put Haji Fawzi under staff because he keeps track of our registers and nikahs and events, and may Allah reward him abundantly as well. Ameen. And then to Faiza Samai, my PA, who coordinates the overwhelming amount of communication that comes my way and scheduling, may Allah reward her abundantly for her assistance. Then to all the maintenance staff and volunteers, some who are present here today, others who couldn't make it, may Allah reward them abundantly. And then we are also quite excited at Masjidut Taqwa to announce our admin and media interns for 2022. They are also present at this event. We say a big ahlan wa sahlan to Sharafa Brawa and Abdullah Fredericks, who was successful in the interviews and joined Masjidut Taqwa's team as staff next year in the admin and media departments, inshallah. They have a lot to handle, inshallah. Our Masjidut Taqwa Ladies Committee has been absolutely amazing. In fact, if I could grant an award, I would grant it to this committee for their dedication on a weekly basis, for their commitment, even to the extent of how they represent the masjid in the community. The Masjidut Taqwa Ladies Committee is chaired and led by Sister Adila Sabal, Najmiya Sali, Nuran Beg Ahadin, and Noreen Peterson Muhammad, and contains a number of dedicated ladies who, you know what, if you need something done, that's what I've learned, hand it over to the Ladies Committee, because they know exactly who to contact and what to do, and they've raised substantial funds for the masjid in the very limited time that they've been active. And so I grant the honorary award, if I'm allowed to the Masjidut Taqwa Ladies Committee for their amazing work. They also see to the snacks that the men eat weekly at the Ratib al-Haddad. So the men should also be very grateful to them, alhamdulillah. They secure the buban and all the other supplies. And the Ladies Committee has asked me to acknowledge two young sisters who deserve specific mention for their commitment And so Masjidut Taqwa wants to thank Sadiqa Akhadeen and Nashita Bruce. We don't have any funds for awards, my dear sisters. But I want to mention you by name because I believe you are even prepared to jump school and exams to be here at the masjid and assist us on a weekly basis, and at the events. May Allah reward you abundantly and allow you to continue being in the service of the community and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Education Advisory Board, we welcomed Sister Warda Abrams, Sister Anika Bardeen, and Hafidh Ubaidullah Ramlin, who have exciting plans for next year. Those plans of courses, workshops, etc. will be shared at the beginning of the year, inshallah. And I'm quite excited about what they have in store for us. Jazakallah khairan to them for all their planning and time thus far, and we look forward to seeing the fruits of their labor. To the professional advisory panel, our lawyers. Now you might be asking, why do we have a team of lawyers now at Masjid Taqwa? In fact, they have volunteered to assist the community, particularly in the areas of Islamic estates, estate administration, and also in terms of divorce agreements, parenting plans, custody agreements. So this team of lawyers have decided to join the masjid, and they will be assisting the counseling department in providing a service to the community, and I think it is a wonderful initiative on their part. So Jazakallah khairan to them, and may Allah grant them khair and barakah in all that they do, particularly their time, because I told them I do not expect any bills to come my way for their time. Then to our Qurra, our Qamaris who have joined our Jumu'ah program, coordinated by Hafidh Yahya Al-Akhadeen. We are particularly grateful to you, Hafidh Yahya Al-Akhadeen, and our Qurra, Hafidh Ilyas Hendricks, Hafidh Luqman Jadeen, Qari Majdi Malik, Hafidh Ibrahim Nakadeen, Hafidh Usama Patel, and Qari Muhammad Sadiq, for eloquently reciting the verses and words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a Friday. We are greatly appreciative. In fact, we've seen people now coming earlier to listen to the reciters. And I recall, I won't mention which Qari was reciting, but one was reciting. And there were brothers who came in and legitimately jumped up out of excitement because of the type of recitation that was being made. So may Allah bless all of you abundantly. I think, are all of you single? So just mentioning it to the online followers, inshallah. Our Qurra are single. You can approach myself or the Imamat to make arrangements, inshallah. But Jazakallah khairan to them, and we wish them a beautiful holiday as well, inshallah. To our Mu'adhins, mashallah, I asked Dr. Afa, please give me a list of the Mu'adhins who are, Masjid Taqwa diehards. And he gave me a list, and I want to thank them for beautifully reciting the adhan. Dr. Mustafa, Dr. Afa Abrams as Sheikh Bilal, the coordinator, and then the Hajis and brothers Ibrahim Abrams, Noor Akhadeen, Adib Babu, Dr. Shahid Babu, Thabit Bardeen, Walid Brown, Ikram Khamildeen, Muhammad Khamildeen, Hakim Isaacs, Fuzi Japi, Asim Japi, and Hamza Nakadeen. Jazakallah khairan to you, all of you, alhamdulillah. To our media team, newly appointed and been working really hard in the last few hours, I think, subhanAllah, to get the newsletter out next week. We thank Sister Hishma Johnson, who has been appointed Editor-in-Chief of our publications, Brother Kashif Lindo, Altaf Balay, Farzana Isaacs, Najira Brown, and Wajida Patha, who are now coordinating our media initiatives, alhamdulillah. Then to affiliated or assisting ulama, Sheikh Latif Lakhadeen, Sheikh Iman Nakhomo, Sheikh Ishaq Lakanya, and Imam Farouk Khamildeen, who are assisting in various capacities. May Allah reward you abundantly for your assistance as well. Then I have this category, the VIMs, the very important musallis, who I have not mentioned by name, but you are seated here because you are not governed and framed by one portfolio. You assist in multiple portfolio. We have those leading al-salah for us as well. I'm seeing Hafidh Banjo, alhamdulillah, and Hafidh Mustafa, and those assisting in maintenance. And then we have seniors in our community. I'm not going to call them out by name, but they are seated at the back. The seniors play a very important role. I'm looking at two seniors. One sits right in front and one sits right at the back. And by using those angles, they control the movement in the masjid, alhamdulillah. May Allah reward them abundantly for their advices and their support. May Allah grant them many more years to be with us in this community. Alhamdulillah. And to everyone else who's been invited to this event and you are present, your role and what you do is completely acknowledged. We appreciate it completely. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan to our donors, sponsors, assistants and supporters. Alhamdulillah. The donations. So let me maybe just touch on a point very quickly. Masjid Taqwa has multiple funds. We have, of course, the monthly fundraiser that sees to the operational expenses, which sadly is always the lowest one that obtains funds. So we have donations coming in for events, for the Ratib al-Haddad, other initiatives, the education project and so forth. We thank all of our donors, alhamdulillah, but I would like to state on record that even though the masjid through donations has been beautified, we still require donations monthly for the operational expenses. And seeing to the initiatives and so forth. And we thank the donors and supporters for all of our events, initiatives. May Allah bless you abundantly, may increase you in rizq, and may you continue to spend on the masjid in the community at large. May Allah accept your sadaqah, your zakah, and your lillah. Ameen. Then a personal shukr as I close, inshallah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making the matters relatively easy for me, alhamdulillah. I need to thank my wife and children who are eagerly awaiting me to go on leave. I thank my parents and my siblings who have been absolutely amazing, my in-laws, my family. My parents, weekly, I think, may Allah reward my mother, she on a weekly basis would ask me, don't you want to quit? And I said, I've signed up to please the community and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it's quite challenging on a period, but may Allah reward them abundantly as well. I must thank my father who retired from Masjid Taqwa, and then I was appointed and I reinstated his honorary contract. It doesn't exist. But to see to our media and assistance and audio, may Allah reward him abundantly, alhamdulillah. And also to my brother Zaid, who whenever I need something done, he is there and he assists. Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward him and grant him khair barakah in his life as well. To the Executive Committee and Board of Trustees, this is my final formal address, inshallah, for 2021. My duties will come to an end at the end of the month as I go on leave, inshallah. But I want to thank the Executive Committee and Board of Trustees for their patience and assistance and tolerance, even being shoulders to proverbially cry on at times. But alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you all abundantly. May you also have a beautiful break, inshallah. To my colleagues and friends, to the community as well, for being supportive. May Allah assist you and guide you, and may we all have a beautiful break, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan to everyone, to our online followers as well. We offer you a virtual barakat, inshallah. To those here, you get the barakat in reality, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan to, perhaps you can just span and just show sort of our online followers, the dedicated team at Masjid. In reality, when I did it count, my dear brothers and sisters, I noted that we had 84 volunteers at Masjid Taqwa in different capacities. Did you know that? We are 84 in reality, even though we had a few apologies for today. May Allah reward everyone abundantly. Jazakallah khairan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam alayhi. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bismillah.
Can we end the live?
I'm just greeting.
Shukran for joining our live broadcast. We will be having one again, inshallah, sometime. So, shukran to you for giving us your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and have a good day further, inshallah.